to know that you anticipate that this kind of program will be on. You know, when the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a pandemic, right? The entire world took notice, and the people singing the gradings seek information, and comments and commentary was made across the board. I get the impression that Dr. Gonsalves, who is Prime Minister for every square inch of Simpson Gradings, take the lead responsibility to make comments on COVID-19, where he suggested to the Governor General that Jimmy Prince should be Minister of Health, and we have the CMO who spoke. Oftentimes, the lead person who carried the discussion was the Prime Minister. And then, so he gave us the impression that, boy, we have to take this thing serious. It's on our backs. While he always his backs are broad, we have to pay attention. So people were paying attention. Some was resisting the thought of not taking the vaccines, right? Prime Minister Gonsalves say, well, boy, let me do a SRNO and remind persons that the vaccine is important. Some people suggest that he wanted to pressure you, so he make and put something in Parliament, and it became law where that minister, the Ministry of Health, alongside the Prime Minister, suggests that frontline workers and people who are deemed frontline workers should and was strongly advised to take a vaccine because it was the way to go. Quite a few persons in civilians, including police officers, doctors, nurses, civil servants, and public servants, okay? They say, well, we are not convinced that the information that we are hearing is in our best interest. And they resist the thought of not taking vaccines. And then you know what happened? They have these regulations where they bring in that you should, or you must, or you're strongly advised to take the vaccine. Or if you don't do it, you can't come in your job. And then they have another segment where you say, you abandoned your job. In other words, you got fired. People thought that that was a strong move. The matter went to court, and the Honorable Justice Esco Henry heard arguments across the floor, took some time, and time that she took was wise time, and she came and she gave her ruling. That ruling sent shiver across St. Vincent again because people highly respected Esco Henry thoughts of the judge. When she made the ruling, it was said that she expected that the authorities would appeal her decision, right? We understand that the appeal is already filed and there is a motion to get a stay of the execution plan by the Honorable Esco Henry. I'm not too sure how that is going, but according to what was said by the expert and person who could speak on legal matters, while they appeal the jurisdiction, they're trying to get the stay. If they don't get the stay, the jurisdiction and matters would have to be given serious consideration. I look at the picket yesterday. I didn't think it was a protest. I think the picket took place in Parliament opposite the financial complex where the Prime Minister's office there. I see people from all segments of workers. I see custom officers, according to the ruling by Esco Henry Christal, that the custom officers who dress they are still custom officers. I saw
and the nurses.
The nurses.
And the teachers.
I see teachers. I see doctors. I see police officers. According to the ruling by the judge, they are still employees of the state. Until they get the state, they're trying to get the state. So what the judge said would not be taken seriously. But as it is today, the people are still employees of the state of St. Vincent and Grenadines. And Christal, I look around and the picket Because I didn't think it was a protest. I think it was a picket, and they were saying, well, hello, we are here, we need to be recognized.
What's the difference between a picket and a protest?
What's the difference between a picket and a protest?
Mhm.
Oh, okay, that's a nice question. The protest I saw here, there were 4 people was protesting, they got arrested. Nobody got arrested yesterday. It's either 2 things. People consciousness and the commissioner of police will say, let's stay far from them people on it because we don't want to escalate a potential crisis in Kingston. So the picket went well yesterday. I think, and I supported those Vincentians posters who go out there and did what they had to do. Why I'm saying so? You know, while the state and they will say it is law have the right to appeal, Christal, I don't think that the Prime Minister should have appealed.
And that's opinion, right?
Yes,
that's opinion, but you rightly said that he has a right to appeal.
Yes.
Which will take me to this thought, and I said it yesterday. I don't think it made sense to have a picket or protest to try to dissuade him, or the government rather, to change their minds from appealing, because any which way it went, if it went in favor of one side, were read to both parties, any which way it went, the opposite side would have appealed. You would have liked the opportunity, and you do have the right to appeal, and it's being exercised right now. You would have appealed it too. So I don't understand the point of going to outside of the financial complex yesterday to try to change the minds of those who have appealed.
Well, you using those broadly, or you just use it from a singular standpoint? Because
I'm looking at it from this issue here. What was the point of yesterday?
What was the point of yesterday? You said it didn't make any sense. Well, I don't agree with you. I believe, like what you said, that the Prime Minister already made up his mind that he's going to appeal the judge's decision. The picket yesterday can't change what the Prime Minister already has sent to. But the picket yesterday sent a message to the Prime Minister, hello, you might be Prime Minister for every square inch, but the time is going to come soon when the people will say, we get enough of you. And that happened in 2025. The Prime Minister have to notice.
So it was more about a political message,
yes,
as opposed to this is how we feel about the ruling by Justice Esco Henry.
The ruling was accepted across the board. And it have a lot of people in Mr. Christal that is too quiet. Have you heard any commentary from Bones Morley? Have you have any
I haven't listened sufficiently to say yes or no.
You have heard from Noel Jackson?
But Burns comes on every Wednesday.
But you put your pot on the stove. You hear Burns going to talk.
I didn't listen to last. I didn't listen last week Wednesday.
Don't bother waste time because Burns not going to go there. Yeah, Burns is a big free when it comes to something. So you're not going to hear from.
I don't think that's fair to say. But
you're not going to hear from Noel Jackson. You may hear from Luke Brown, who's trying to win a seat, but he a minority effect because he can't win a seat Sweden, Vincent Gray. And the people of St. Vincent and Gray is feeling the pain of what took place and what is currently taking place in St. Vincent and Gray, where when we established that the Prime Minister, as the CEO, has the right to appeal. But you don't know, Christal, that appeal is going to prolong for the next 3 years and agonize the pain of persons. You look at persons yesterday.
So then if you're going through all that agony, next elections, you know what to do?
Well, that is what is going to come down to, you know. People are going to express their frustration.
If they remember.
They will remember.
If they remember how they feel today and yesterday and the day before that. Because come election time, right? So much energy is going to be in there. People are going to forget. People are going to forget.
You think so?
I know so. People forget.
Wow.
People forget. May not be a lot of people. Maybe the minority, but there's some people who forget.
Well, I never know. And I am confirmed, that people think you solve it very hard, but that's easy. So think people will forget.
People will forget. Some people will forget.
You just played that.
Some people, no.
You just played that advertisement a while ago where the Europeans will celebrate 23 years in government. What is to be celebrated in St. Vincent?
What is not to be celebrated?
Oppression in St. Vincent was taking place, Christal.
Who feels oppressed?
The people who's not working, people
If
who
the
won't,
people
according to the code,
okay,
they're not fired in a Christal.
okay,
According to Esco Henry, they are not fired. They are still employed with the people of Civil Security, but they are not being gainfully rewarded for their services. That's what the code said.
okay.
Until the Prime Minister get this stay, the court order should stand.
Let's go back to the oppression argument, right? I would love to know how many people feel oppressed in St. Vincent and the Grenadines right now. But I don't think that we're going to get to know that figure because, as you rightly said, there are lots of people who are quiet. Quiet for and quiet against. How many people feel oppressed in SVG? You hear the talk from a number of persons, but can they speak for the entire country? Or are they speaking for those who are willing to speak up for themselves? And why aren't more people speaking up for themselves? Every time a protest is called, you would see on social media a lot of talk. You would see comments, a commentary on the post, a lot of talk. But when it comes to action, how many people actually turn out? And the question is, why so much talk behind closed doors and on radio programs and in the background, behind the scenes, and not enough faces to show when it's time? Okay, let's go to Kingston and do XYZ, and nobody, hardly anybody turns up. Why why that big difference?
There's a climate of fear in St. Vincent and Grenadines. Who cultivate that fear is the politician. Who don't want nobody to criticize him, and whatever he say must be accepted. Well, let me tell you something. What taking place with this SOS and the judge ruling is just the start of what is going to take place in the future. As you say, it have a silent majority, it have a 3% swing vote, and let's say every one of those persons who picket the Prime Minister's office yesterday voted against the European election. It is going to come to something because you have people who losing the properties, who can't provide for their families, who can't continue to pay for their children university education. And you champion this government as a labor government and an education revolution government, but you're oppressing people. Christal, what is taking place, the fiction out there is real. You come here, I don't want to describe you as you're not being careful or you're not being caring for people. But I go everywhere.
Describe me.
No, I'm not trying to do that. Because if I do that, I might be describing you wrong. But I'm going to use me as an example. I go all about simplicity here because of my nature, my job. When I open my mouth, people say, "Oh, you is Kingsley?" I say, "Yeah." "How's Christal?" So she's okay. What about the siblings and ingredients are need to do more? What more? What else we can do? There are people who don't call Radio Christal. There are people who would never call Radio Christal because they don't want to be identified, because they don't want people to say, "Well, you made a strong comment about the government and you try working here." They're worried about the victimization and the plan to continue to oppress people. If very few people you hear will speak openly on this particular topic. You're not, like I said, you're not going to hear Bones Boy. You're not going to hear, I hear Sian call this morning and gone some topic far from what taking place. I switched the radio off and I hear Sian this morning and it's nonsense. Because that is not what created the interest in Simmons and the It's the cry of people feeling the pain. This appeal is going to go along for the next couple years. Let's say about another 3 years. It's 3 years of pain that people gotta go through.
You think people could go through 3 years of pain?
Of course. They demonstrated when we had the dengue treatment.
You don't think that for something, okay. So these individuals have been very persistent up until now. You don't think that they're gonna get to a breaking point?
Well, let's hope they don't get there, but I hope they get there sooner than later. Because somebody, and you asked a question earlier, why they went to picket the Prime Minister yesterday when he already knew that he appealed. They are at the boiling point where they want to be recognized. Hello, Prime Minister. You're appealing, that is your fundamental right, but please don't do it. reinstate the workers with all the benefits, and let's move on. And we need to come to that point where people say, man, enough is enough. Let's do something and make some changes. And the changes will come, but it will come over a period of time, and somebody is going to pay that particular price. And I am so upset with what's taking place that the people who has influence. Mr. Weeks, I really want to hear your point this morning on this issue. What do you think about the appeal? Should the government appeal? Is the appealing process an oppression process just to prolong the pain of the people? Should Prime Minister Gonsalves give it a second thought and say, no, let's reinstate the workers on them and find ways and methods and money to pay them? Because let me tell you something, Christal. If this is prolonged for the next 3 years, the government change, Friday becomes the Prime Minister. All the focus will be on Prime Minister Friday if the time comes when he becomes Prime Minister. To find the monies that he is not responsible for the according to the code, the unconstitutional matter that took place. They have to pay people in, they have to be compensated. They have to be compensated.
I think the major difference there would be the interest. Because if they were still employed, it's their monies that had to go out.
Yes. I mean, people all have to consider. Think. Imagine that you're working and all of a sudden you lost your job. You don't have any other source of income to send to school, blah, blah, blah. Not happening. You go to court and the court say, well, you are dismissed unfairly. Go back to your work, you put on your uniform and go back to your work, and you were told, oh, go to the permanent secretary, go to that person. And the court as it is today, should be obeyed. But the authority is trying to find a stay to put what took place by Justice Henry and the back burner until the appeal. When the appeal court will come here again, that will take some time. Sometimes they might go to court, one lawyer is out of the state, you have facts for adjournment. Another lawyer ain't feeling too well, you have facts for adjournment. Adjournment just delay the process. And you have people who go into these trying times.
Stick up in there, call is coming through. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my dear sister. I like the question you're asking with the guy who was doing the camera with you. Don't make it carry down the link. The question is, if this party come out the power, what the next party you have to put? I know you don't do that because you're a monitor, but if the next party gets into power, ask them what they gonna bring to the table. Because if I build a house, I have to pay 2 years or 4 years down the road to put my things in. So when I get the money, if I go give money to the cutter, go to the bank, really put my cutter. I have this X amount of money. Can you lend me some portion? The bank gonna go cut it. I'll give you your reference. But that guy, he always feel like monkey too. So be careful with him. He's like Frank the Silver, and I go.
This is the same guy to call and tell me, Kingsley, you're doing a wonderful job. Really amplify you because I'm not singing from your song sheet. You refer to me as this guy, that guy. I mean, come on, show some maturity. You are a supporter of the LP, we respect that, but show some maturity. People are feeling pain in St. Vincent. I went there yesterday to look at some persons. I see man dressed in the uniform. I see nurses. One interview went to speak to you. Are you a nurse? She said, I am a nurse. According to Esco, I am still gaining employed. No, I must come here and support Wild Gonsalves. But he said he wants to go to a pit and he goes, oh, Kingsley, I love you. You're the best thing after sliced bread. But you ain't getting that from me, brother. I have a conscience. You understand? I have a conscience.
Some more responses coming in on the live and WhatsApp. Okay.
If they don't watch, I really don't read them.
No. Just some of them, just for information's sake. It's not necessary to repeat.
Okay.
All right, Christal and Kingsley, good morning. Are they having a protest again today by the market where they usually are? I hope it has. Oh, they're having. I hope it has over 500 people today to show the PM people power. It says PM don't love people because if he did love people, he would have done the right thing. The PM, the vaccine. They have the vaccine as higher than the Almighty, because by forcing people to take the vaccine, the Almighty gave us two roads to walk. He never forced us, he let us
Give us a choice.
get me out of a decision. So you ain't think he should let people make their own decision? Here's another one. Good morning, guys. Kingsley, people still feel oppressed from the parties you support. That's why they're not winning. The same thing happened in New York with the vaccine mandate, and the state appealed the judge's decision. These people will sit down for 3 years and not look for a job. That's what you guys say?
but these people crazy, you know. Christal, the person who picket the prime minister's office yesterday, and they are employees of his state. They are, according to the honorable judge, and using the word deliberately, honorable judge, they are still employees of his state. So why they should go look for a job when they already have a job? Eh? Is what the code say. I said sometime ago last week, you know, there's no evidence in this and again that the executive is interfering with the legal and judicial service. Now the honorable judge took some time, hear the case across the board, give her a summary in a judgment. Am I hearing people question the judge? Well, I am also confident that when the appeal took place, I hope it's quicker than rather, that the judges, and it will be three of them, they will come up with the same decision that Esther Henry came up with. And if for some reason, like my friend Mr. Williams told me yesterday, he wanted to go to the Privy Council, so the Privy Council would decide what is the mechanism that the governments in the Caribbean should use to make sure if we ever have a similar pandemic like what we suffered over the COVID-19 period. So we must disrespect the judge, disrespect the appeal judges, go to the Privy Council and allow them to determine what government should do in the Caribbean in state of an expanded come across. So it doesn't have common sense. It doesn't have a state of law and a constitution. Our country is governed by a constitution. And people who listen, you think the honorable judge who sat and heard arguments doesn't understand the constitution and how to interpret the constitution? Well, I hear people call and say, oh, the judge taking too long. The reason why she took so long is because she had to make sure, cross the T's and dot the I's. So whenever she released, as she did release, it will be sung. And when it goes to the appeal court, the judge will say, this judgment by Esther Henry was grounded by law and constitution.
Hold that thought. Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Kingsley.
No, sir.
So when the COVID was it was very, very scary for everybody in this country and all over the world.
Yeah.
And if the Prime Minister tell the frontline workers they got to take the vaccine, Kingsley, you know you have bills to pay. You will go and take it. You just can't walk off and say you're not going back to work. You can't do that and just go back to work. The Prime Minister have to make the decision. If you want you back, you know? And I mean, Ralph have a good heart. Nobody know what Ralph will do. Will do. You know what I mean? I the first set up in Billy, take me and my wife, take the vaccine and some other people around me. Yeah? Are we still alive? Nothing wrong with us.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with us, Kingsley. You look in Africa now. Look with the thing they have there now. They're begging for vaccine for the children them in Africa. Measles. They're dying.
Measles and COVID are two different diseases, sir.
Yeah, but it's a sickness.
Yes, but it's two different. It's two different arguments, sir.
Yeah, it's a sickness.
It is, but it's two different arguments.
You just can't walk back to your work. You're not ruling this country. I tell him, you have to go back to work. You and tell him, go. No, Ralph have to make that decision, and I gone.
Okay then.
But on the point of the words that you chose there, did they walk off, or were they told not to come back?
According to the court, they didn't walk off. They didn't abandon their job. According to the court, because what the court is saying,
COVID-19 is the worst thing.
Interpret by Esther Henry, that it was unconstitutional and it should not never happen.
People say politics divisive. COVID-19 is the most divisive thing I've ever experienced. It's the most discriminatory thing I've ever
You have
experienced.
some people thinking outside the box. People can't think for themselves, and anything the leader say, they just jump and say, "Okay, let's follow the leader."
Well, that's one of the purposes of a leader as well.
To be persuasive and
To
influential.
lead. To lead.
Okay, right.
To lead.
Right. Okay. All right. If you say so, you're convinced that some leadership took place. Well, I agree with
I
you.
am not. That is not what I said. I said the purpose of leadership is to lead. I'm not speaking specific to the incident. I made a general statement.
Okay. Now you clarify that. But
I thought it was very clear what I said.
no, I can understand it. It's just too technical for you. Now you break it down, I understand it now. But Christal, the situation is going to escalate in St. Vincent again. The last caller said that the Prime Minister should lead. So the Prime Minister should disobey the code. He mustn't pay attention to what Esco Henry said in the judgment. He must just appeal, extend the pain for poor people.
A call is coming through.
Yes.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Kingsley.
Morning, Mr. Peters.
And good morning, my dear Miss Christal.
Hello, good morning.
All right, miss.
See, we are missing one point, Kingsley, with the vaccine. Now, these teachers and the other people who went, I wouldn't say they lose their job, but they had a time of 10 days. The Prime Minister gave them 10 days to make up their mind. And they didn't accept the 10 days. They stayed home.
Well, as a former police officer, you heard what was said by Esco Henry. 10 days are 10 days. What took place with the SNR, no? It was unconstitutional. The people then should be reinstated immediate effect. Because they never lost their job. They should just go back and start to do their work. The court spoke, and the court speak loudly. I don't think that the Prime Minister should appeal, just rain for everybody.
But they had the opportunity to go back to the work before the 10 days was expired. And they didn't go. They didn't go back to the work. They stayed home. So within the 10 days, they abandoned their job.
Why did they stay home?
Why did they stay home?
Why did they not take up that opportunity?
Well, that is what I'm wondering.
I think the deciding factor at that time, it was the vaccine. You either take it or you don't take it. That's it.
In order to that, they had a choice.
Right. So the choice was you either take the vaccine based on your comfort level or you not take it. There were some people who were fearful because they didn't know sufficient information. It was being shoved down their throats in some way or other, and they took it despite of how they felt. There are some people who were fearful and refused to do it, despite the fact that they had a mortgage to pay, they had the children to take care of, they had themselves to take care of, because they felt it was their right to decide on what went into their bodies. That's the basis of the argument right now. Right?
Then they must stand by it. They must stand by it if they take that choice not to take it. They must stand by it and come to them crying about.
They're not crying. They're not crying, Mr. Peters.
Their choice not to take it. They should realize that is that.
They're not crying. The court said that they are in their rights to do what they did, and they're not crying. They're just expressing their thought and their pain that they're going through. They're not crying.
Okay.
Okay, so
the other point.
Yes, Mr. Peters, go ahead.
And the other point, had the decision gone the other way in favor of the government?
Jomo Thomas would have appealed.
I don't think he's finished with his question.
Yeah. They would have appealed.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
would have appealed.
Yes.
So, according to the government, the defendant has a right to appeal, like just as the hotel company has a right to appeal. So, people shouldn't be saying, oh, they shouldn't appeal. But the course of action, the course of appeal is also in favor of the government too. So, when the appeal comes off and the three judges say, okay, this Henry decision stand, we all want to satisfy. If you don't satisfy, then they could go forward if they want to the
Privy Council. Yes.
All right.
Okay then.
Thank you so
Mr.
much.
Princess, right, okay.
Something that I've noticed is some people's opinion is based on their comfort level with the vaccine. So more than likely, from what I've heard from like listeners, callers, people on social media, those persons who were comfortable taking the vaccine, they thought that the persons who were in opposition to the vaccine, well, you didn't take it, is your business. Those people who were not comfortable with taking the vaccine are on the side of the claimants. I've picked that up, and I'm picking it up from people's responses. At this time, we're going to take a break. We're on some commercials and come right back. It's 8:35 right here on WEFM 99.9 Activated Mornings. The WhatsApp number is 4579994. The number to call when we come back is 4579997. When we come back as well, there are some comments on our Facebook Live, and you can check it out at WEFM 99 SVG.
In observance of Heroes Day, Republic Bank wants to help you own a piece of the gem of the Antilles with land, built easy, and mortgage loans at the lowest interest rates. Heroes go places, and so can you, with 100% financing on new vehicles at low interest rates. Heroes go for their dreams. You can too with the Make It Happen loan up to $40,000 unsecured. With Republic, you enjoy flexible repayment and the best credit card services on SVG. Heroes never settle when there's a better choice. Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
Oh yeah, people waiting for this. Well, waiting done. Kendra's Aluminum Products 2-day yard sale is back. Friday, March 31st, Saturday, April 1st at our factory compound, Camden Park. With a special low prices on aluminum windows, wooden and metal doors, P-Chat toilets, vanities, face basins and cabinets, jacuzzi, bathtubs, fridges, stoves, cooker hoods, kitchen sinks, Gucci bullet, kettles, automatic swing gate opener, kitchen appliances from Jake's Kitchen, and plenty more. Don't make nobody check you for food. The lowest prices guaranteed are at Kendra's Aluminum Products yard sale. Friday, March 31st, Saturday, April 1st. Kendra's Aluminum Products, a tradition of excellence. What? The Unity Labour Party is celebrating 22 years in government with the biggest rally and the biggest party of 2023. When? This Sunday, March 26th from 5:30 p.m. We're at the E.T. Joshua Runway, North End, Honnesville. Who's coming? Just about everybody. With big speakers like Curtis King, Christal Peters, Camilo, Sabato, and Comrade Ralphie. How will we get there? By car, van, truck, bike, boat, plane, donkey, spaceship. Transportation is free. And why? Because greatness must be celebrated. Keep the fire burning. Keep the fire burning. And we party with the biggest stars. Hyper 4000, Sonny Banks, Chanel McKenzie, Rollo, Joanna, DJ Eminem, and DJ Donovan with a fireman Hooper.
Why are we want the whole place smash up as we waiting on it?
Gabby out of Barbados, Logic from Trinidad, and Nyla Blackman and Skinny Fabulous together for the first time in SVG. Oh, and one final thing, we're wearing red.
Ole, 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 ole. Feeling hot, hot, hot.
If you are a woman between the age of 40 to 60 and you feel hot, raise your hand. Yes, you are beautiful, but you also might be experiencing the big M, a critical transition in every woman's life. So bring a girlfriend and come join us on Friday, March 31st at the Russell Auditorium, Stony Ground at 6 p.m. Come meet expert consultant OBGYN presenters, Dr. Sandra Viner from Barbados and Dr. Camille Nichols of SVG. Let's talk about what perimenopause and menopause means and how they affect you. Tickets are $100 and available at Carrer's Pharmacy. Friday, March 31st, 6 p.m. at the Russell Auditorium. Menopause matters.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's a whole new world out there. Reaching new customers and getting products faster. That's what it's all about. Ocean freight rates are skyrocketing, so don't pay more for slower service. It's time to switch to faster, more reliable air cargo service with SkyMax Cargo. Up to 3 flights weekly to and from the USA, Puerto Rico, and the Caribbean islands, providing excellent import, export, and e-commerce solutions to put you ahead of the competition. For special low rates on small packages and air cargo, contact SkyMax today. 784-456-5400. Local agents SwiftPack Interbrand Cargo. Call 784-456-5400 to book your shipments today.
How we live? Hybrid life, living on the hybrid life. What you feeling? Hybrid life, living on the hybrid life. End up on time we now watch phone bill. That's with the contract is a sure thing. How with the new floor plan name? Hybrid. If you don't know about it, then they better slide in. How we live? Hybrid life, living on the hybrid life. What you feeling? Hybrid life, living on the hybrid life. Jump in the hybrid life, living on the hybrid life. What you feeling? Hybrid life, living on the hybrid life.
With both new hybrid plan, postpaid and prepaid come together as one with no overages, no contract, no deposit, and no catch.
Hybrid.
Bundle up now and get 50 gigabytes of data and 2,000 anywhere minutes for only $55 per month, plus a discounted smartphone.
You see the new phone plan that Flow made? You could turn postpaid to prepaid.
WEFM 99.9.
Good production.
Good morning and welcome back to Activated Mornings right here on WEFM 99.9. Remember the number to call us and get interactive is 457-9997. The number to WhatsApp us is 457-9994. In studio this morning for this Tuesday morning, the 21st day of March, is Mr. Kingsley DeFreitas, and yours truly, Christal, to take up until 9:45 this morning. All right, the call is coming through. Let's take that. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my dear again.
Hi, good morning.
Remember, Ralph told them, the teachers and all the workers, frontline workers, if you don't want to take the vaccine, you have to go and take a test. Make sure to show you're okay. And he will pay for the first month. But after that, you have to pay for your own test. And you hold a job. And they refuse. You know what more all they want him to do? It's your choice. You know you have bills and all them things to pay, mortgage to pay. Go to work. You have to work. Obey the Prime Minister. He's the ruler. Yeah? He's the ruler in this country. Whatever he said goes. You know what I mean? Okay?
Listening.
Bye.
Yes, thank you very much.
Ponder the word ruler. He is the ruler. Wow. Wow. Wow, Mr. Brown. Wow.
All right, let's take some responses coming from Facebook. All right, the handle is at WEFM 99SVG. Good morning to Anne. Good morning, Joshua. He's saying a picket is a barrier. Protest is a show of opposition. It was not a picket. Did they prevent anyone from entering the complex? And some humans are too quick to sell their souls for a penny. Coming in through the WhatsApp now. You can call us via WhatsApp as well. All right, so let me scroll down a little bit. Yeah, it's what the courts, they still have a job. But you're saying the appeal would take 3 years. So I'm asking you, would they sit down for 3 years and not get another job until the case is over? I guess you believe that person, when they say the PM don't love the people, since you say nothing about that, what he said. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, morning. Welcome.
I think you all forgetting another part of that agreement.
Mm.
The agreement wasn't just for the vaccine. There was a part of the agreement that you be tested if you don't want to take the vaccine. A lot of people forgetting that part. They refuse to take the testing too. You forget that.
Mm. Yeah, completely.
So I mean, it wasn't just you have to take the vaccine. They were given a choice of vaccine or being tested. Some of them say we're not taking the testing. Some say we're not paying for it. So I mean, with me, where I work, they didn't even ask me no choice. They didn't give me no choice. They put it next to my picture. If I don't show up, if my vaccine record doesn't show up next to my paycheck, I don't get paid, even if I come to work. So I wasn't even, I'm supposed to live in a free country called America, and I wasn't even given that choice. I was told that if you the job that you're doing, because I'm a first responder, I am dealing with people straight one on one, and if I go into that job without my proper protection, I'm not getting paid. I mean, I have to either be tested every 2 weeks, just like St. Vincent, or get vaccinated. If you're and when you go for testing, it's on your time, it's not on their time. Because if you choose not to take the vaccine, whenever you go and do test, if it's an hour you take, that's an hour of your wages gone. I don't understand why people don't understand this thing. This thing was a big, deadly thing. This was killing people. This thing wasn't just like a flu. Even flu kill people, but it's not like the flu. This thing was killing people. Nobody had no way of figuring out how to do this thing. Some people just have to be just not to watch this thing killing people and tell me that you're not taking precaution for yourself, at least for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I don't understand what people making this big thing about vaccine. If you don't want to take the vaccine, take the test. Simple.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I see it. One or the other. You can't tell me that you love your people, you love people, and you tell me that you ain't taking this because you might die. Come to your kids at home. Suppose you catch COVID and you go home and kill out your whole family. Come on. And that's my point I'm trying to make, is that people have to be more reasonable than they are right now. You either take the test or you take the vaccine. So people know that you're safe to come around them. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Okay, cool.
Thank you. As you mentioned that safe to come around, I just remembered that despite taking the vaccine, there was still a possibility, although it was reduced according to what they told us, there was still a possibility that you could contract and spread and still die. But your chances, and still be hospitalized as well. I forgot to put that in there. So 4 things: contract, spread, hospitalized, and die. There was still a possibility of that. But according to what they told us, your chances you would have been better off.
Wow.
Oh, wait, a call coming through again. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Christal.
Morning.
And DeFreitas.
I appreciate your acknowledgement, sir.
Okay. First and foremost, I think the government has the entire population of St. Vincent and the Grenadines at heart. More so the children in terms of teachers. Now, if anybody, not only teachers alone, say that they are not taking the vaccine for religious reasons, I see it. It could be me too. And the government say, well, okay, just go and you are COVID free. Refuse that. I mean, come on, it's simple. government trying to protect us. It's a World War thing. This is something that could affect the entire nation. People dying left, right, and center, right? And they're not taking the vaccine. Okay, my other point is that since that the government are taking this decision to ask workers to reapply for the job, is it that when they apply, when they reapply, are they going to start back from scratches? Are they not going to get their benefits like during the time they were working? I don't know, but I think that the government, I mean, since that they have taken that decision, they to say they appeal the judge's decision. I don't see that the appealing coming place. Seeing that they have taken that decision, if the judges if the judge take the that decision to say, well, okay, it was constitutional, unconstitutional, I mean, they should just go along with it and just continue, let people reapply for the job and go back on the job and finish away with it. I can't see that all this hanging, talking and all kind of thing going on. Okay? Kingsley, I want to ask you a question. Are you saying that the judge's decision is correct, okay, and the government should not appeal for the decision? Are you saying that the government should not ask people to take a vaccine, do a test? Which one do you really encourage?
I got answer.
So that is what I really want to find out.
Yes, okay, all right.
Okay, all right, I'll listen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But you want the best person who called this morning because you speak broadly and you seem to understand what you say. You ask a question and you made a comment that I'm going to have a premise to have the responsibility to provide a protective avenue for us in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He did that through the Ministry of Health when they passed the SRNO. They have Vincentians who said they're not taking the vaccine because they were not convinced that the vaccine was the best choice for them. So they didn't take it. And they went to the court. The court is guided by our constitution, and our country is by the constitution and laws. Escoheni, who sat and held arguments across the board, used the constitution and the law to come to the decision that she gave. And all I'm simply saying that we should respect the court. And if I were Prime Minister, when he has the avenue to do us appeal, I would not have applied for a sake of execution of what the judge said. That's how I will answer you in that simple way.
All right, so my response is on the WhatsApp. I was not comfortable. Oh, they don't have a job. You can be an employee and tell your employer the rules of your employment. What next? The uniform is red and you choose to wear blue and think that you have the right. I was not comfortable with the vaccine. However, for my family and the greater good, I did. It is not about me, but my family and society. Here I'm scrolling up. I think the main reason the government lost is because the law that passed was not properly done. They forgot the Constitution when they did the law, and the Constitution is the highest order of the state.
That is what Escoheni said. It was unconstitutional, and when you're going to put something, it must all be in sync with the Constitution. So that's a very good WhatsApp. The person seems to be on top of what taking place. Nobody is questioning Ralph Gonsalves to go and appeal the judge. But the judge said what took place, it was not guided and protected by the Constitution. That is why she ruled in favor of Jones and his team, who represent the persons who said that they were discomforted by not taking the vaccine. So just simple.
Let me just make sure that I am not right. I'm still good with time. Good morning. But Kingsley, in the heart of COVID-19, you were saying that the same people stay away from the job. Also, they had the choice to be tested weekly or twice. The union told them not to do anything. This sounds more personal to you. Let the matter play out in the courts. All the police officers, immigration officers, nurses, teachers that went out and work can't get transportation to go and come from work. They went above and beyond in their jobs. They are my heroes, and thank you again for a job well done. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. Thank you. A call came through, but didn't click it quickly enough. Sorry about that. These people were given a choice to take the vaccine or get tested weekly. They refused both. Let's not forget that. In New York, the people that work for the state did have that choice. It takes the vaccine, and if you don't, you get fired. My view has nothing to do with Ralph. All right, a call. Let's take it. Hello, good morning.
Miss Christal.
Good morning.
Boy, yeah, I'm doing something here. I'll call you back, miss. Let me get it.
Yes, go tell to your customer.
You need back to ground. Yeah.
Every time I gotta click another thing coming in here, boy. Bye. Good morning, Christal and Kingsley. I think it was appropriate for civil servants to get the vaccine when it was mandated. For instance, in New York alone, over 600 people were dying per day. SOG has a small population and opposed to America, so something had to be done to protect the people. How would you have felt if your child goes to school and catches COVID because the teacher gave it to them? And last, if the PM didn't see a clause in the Constitution, he would not have appealed. We are all entitled to our own opinion, so leave it alone and let's see how it plays out. Thank you and have a great day. God bless. By the way, when people started to take the vaccine, the death rate went down drastically.
And I'm hoping that person who sent that WhatsApp will have it in their archive. So whenever the appeal court rule that ESCO is right, and the government appeal and go to the Privy Council, and the Privy Council say ESCO was right, we can throw all those negatives in the basket and say what was done by the ministry was wrong according to the court. It was not constitutional.
Now, folks are taking me down memory lane. I remember one argument. When you said children go to school, how did children go to school? Children went to school in buses. And the buses were packed 3 on a seat.
I saw.
There was no, I'm speaking about the children. There was no social distancing in minibuses. The only thing that you could have done for minibuses at the time was to say, all right, you cannot exceed, I think it was 12 or 14. I can't do the maths quickly right now, but it was 3 persons to a seat. And then you go to school and you sit 6 feet apart, and your teacher is 6 feet in front of you, plus or minus. A lot of things were not level during COVID-19. A lot of things didn't correspond across the board. If you understand what I'm saying, you spend 30 minutes to an hour in a bus, cloak up with somebody who possibly had COVID-19 from another village, from another place, from another household. Yes, you were wearing mask to go to school, to sit at a distance from people. The chances of you catching COVID masked up for the entire day, even though you were wearing mask, were greater in a bus as opposed to the classroom. But all Vincentians were not mandated because that would have been impossible. Drivers were not mandated to take the COVID-19 vaccine either. I'm just saying that, remembering things that were said during that period of time. And those were the arguments and the points that came up as you're taking me down memory lane this morning. Some more responses. We got 3 minutes before we head to the top of the hour. Kingsley, if the PM did not do anything to help and more people died, what would have been said?
What the PM did to him?
Just can't please everybody. Listen, something you have to remember too, during COVID-19, it was not an easy time for a lot of folks. It was not an easy time at all. There was a lot of fear. Every single morning you wake up, all you're hearing is COVID, 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 dead, 6666666, hospital, a lot of things. And it was just consistent. It was repetitive. It was constant. A lot of people's mental health deteriorated during that period. Obviously, even though the risk, it may not have been as bad if we weren't hearing it so often. It was a terrible period, yes, we understand it for the entire world. But what made it worse was the consistent talk about death and COVID-19. And even though inside of all of that, there were people who were completely ignoring it. Once your mind goes to a certain place, even though it may not be as bad as people think it to be, once you instill that fear, man, it makes it a lot worse. You cannot please everybody. So with all of that, and they're all human beings, people at the bottom, people in the middle, people at the top, everybody's human being. The attempt was to try to control the spread of COVID-19 by the time it got to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Although there was some conspiracy about that. People said it was here before March. People said all kind of things. The attempt was to curb the spread of COVID-19, to prevent deaths, to prevent the existing healthcare system at the time from being overwhelmed by an influx of patients. There were limitations. We didn't have the capacity to deal with 110,000 sick people at once. So you had to put things in place to prevent the further spread, to prevent one community from getting it to the next, to prevent somebody from dying, to prevent a child from taking it from school to home to meet the grandparent who was not leaving home. Somebody was bringing it back home. People died. Death certificate. You either died off or COVID-19. Some people died. And the people who would understand it are the people who felt it. Your friends today, you're going to a funeral next week during COVID-19. So with all of that, fear, something that's new. We never went through a pandemic. You had to take direction from PAHO. You had to take information from World Health Organization. You had to take information from CAFA. Man, I remember the testing, the early stages of testing. And everybody was up in arms about why CAFA can't bring back the results quickly. CAFA was dealing with multiple countries, and then you had to fly it down. Why this? Why not? Because people were anxious and fearful. People were scared during COVID-19. So in terms of coming up with ways to deal with something that we were not familiar with, the whole pandemic, the entire country's health is in your hands. You had to do things quickly, and you had to try your very best to get it right. Otherwise, somebody might die, and ultimately it's going to lead back, and you're going to be the one responsible for it. And then you had to deal with people's disobedience. Just relax for a little bit. This is what they're telling us is going to work, and this is what they're telling us is not going to work. Let me just stay home for a bit. Keep things under control for just a bit. And then on top of all of that, you had to manage the economy.
Well, who did the job at the time asked for the job that they're responsible to adjust themselves to make sure that the job was done. Okay?
Right. And in their estimation, what they're saying no. They thought the decisions that they made, depending on how you feel about it, they thought that they were right. Time for a break. 9:02, we're 2 minutes over time. We're going to head to the top of the hour and bring to you ECCB Bank Rate. As brought to you compliments the Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. When we come back from that, we're going to bring to you the 3D and Play 4 draw results for last night. All right. And of course, the bank rates are brought to you compliments the Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Brick by brick, piece by piece, building with technology, helping wealth increase, starting small, building the future, doing more every day, doing more together. BOSVG, the bank we count on. BOSVG, our one bank together we're strong. Our nation's bank, standing long and proud. One bank, one voice.